Welcome to the 4th annual charity stream for Acts of the Blood God, an independent RPG podcast. I'm your host, Kat Bailey. Joining me, as always, my lovely co-host, Nadia Oxford.
Hello, Kat. 4 is just 1 away from 5. We can do it. Let's think ahead. This is Eric, good news. You get to start thinking about next year right now.
Good news. You're locked in here with us.
Don't forget, you're here forever.
Indeed.
Also joining me is Eric Van Allen.
Hello, hi. It's a 4th year. We did this a 4th time. I hope I'll survive to the 5th. We'll find out at the end of this. You can make that less likely with your donations by getting us to certain incentives that might shorten my lifespan. We'll find out.
Yes.
Please don't encourage, maybe in this case you should encourage him to drink funny things because it's all going to charity.
Our 4 beautiful charity babies, and every time we finish it, we go, that wasn't so bad. In fact, that went really well. Let's do that again next year. And then we get to the point of actually having to make it happen. We go, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. But
yeah,
it's all for a good cause. We'll be talking about that in just a moment. But first, I want to introduce our special guest. You know them from Final Fantasy XIV. I know her from Unicorn Overlord. It's Sena Bryer.
Hi! You know what else there's 4 of? 4 people on this podcast. That's all I got. It's early for me.
You know what else? There are 4 of Final Fantasies. And actually, if you multiply that by like 4 times 4, you get to Final Fantasy 16. And don't include the spin-offs. And do include Final Fantasy 11. Much love to you, Victor. Because for our special charity stream, we're going to be defending our Final Fantasy, our favorite Final Fantasy, against the spears, the slings and arrows of our compatriots, who will be trying to take us down, or at least ask very considered and thoughtful questions about the relative strengths and weaknesses of that particular Final Fantasy. That's all coming up a little bit later. We'll also be recapping all the news from the week and the Monster Hunter Wilds title update and all that. I'll be talking about how I tried and failed to finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth earlier this week. Eric and I can talk a little bit about that epic Magic the Gathering Commander game that we had in the test run.
Wish y'all could have seen
for the
it.
Sherry stream. No, it was really good. I mean, we had great content. That could have been an amazing stream right there. I'm a little sad that it didn't happen.
Fire? That would be pretty amazing. That'd be a really cool Magic game, actually.
It would be. I'd be into it. It'd be like Crossfire.
That's what we thought. That's what we thought that Crossfire commercial.
Crossfire.
Yeah. Crossfire.
Instead of Magic just sling little metal balls at each other with elastic bands.
Exactly.
That sounds all right.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about that. But first, if you want to support the stream, then we have a donation link. It should be in the chat. You can go click on it. I think you hit ! Donate. Is that correct, Eric? Eric is nodding.
That would be correct. I'm dealing with Poe, who's very fussy this morning. He's realized that there are a lot of other people here that aren't paying attention to him right now. So please, everybody, pay attention to Poe for a moment. Good. Yes.
Oh,
all right.
So
yeah, ! Donate in the chat. We have tons of incentives. I will tell you right now, 2,500 unlocks the first bonus segment of the weekend. We're not telling you what these secret bonus segments are, but let me tell you.
Gotta donate to find out.
My hint for bonus 1 and 2 is that they are returns of beloved previous segments of last year's charities. So 5,000 is the second bonus segment unlock. Those will both fall on tomorrow. And then if we get to the exact number is $8,264.33. That will put Axe the Blood God at 50,000 lifetime dollars raised for Trans Lifeline. $50,000. If we can get to that, I will drink the Gonster. 1/2 Monster, 1/2 Guinness. Some people have called it the Billy Irish. It is terrible. It is terrifying. I will drink it for your entertainment live on air. And then at 7,500, I believe, is our final bonus segment. We don't have goals beyond that. If you want to make us come up with goals and incentives on the spot, get us further than that, and we will continue to come up with goals and incentives. Yeah, we'll do karaoke. We'll dance for your amusement. I don't know. That's what. But
I picked the song. I'm not gonna get stuck singing some like weak ass song.
FF14 raids with a DDR pad.
Yeah, there we go. I'll get the DDR pad out. Actually, I don't have a DDR pad anymore, but I do have a Guitar Hero Live controller, and I will do that. Yeah.
Oh crap! Nice.
Play Bard. Yeah.
Eric will do karaoke for the stream.
Finally, we also have tons of giveaways. He does a
killer Linkin Park duo with Kenneth Shepard. I'll say that much.
We're gonna make that public. We do have tons of giveaways as well. We have lots of codes. I will say shout outs to the folks at Atlas, at Capcom, at many different indie studios who all donated a ton of codes for us to give away throughout the weekend. We have codes for Rido Remastered, baby. It just came out. You want that on your Switch too? Donate some cash. We got P3 Reload, Metaphor, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. We've got Laika, Aged Through Blood. We've got Dunk Awakening. Dune, I will say it right once to give them respect for
Dunk.
Yeah, I love calling it Dunk because when you look at the movie posters and stuff like that, it looks like Dunk and not Dune. So I like to say Dunk Awakening. But we have all that. We also have, I would show it to you if I didn't have a cat in my lap right now, a giant box full of Warframe merch to give away. We have multiple t-shirts. We have a bunch of Pride pins. We have a hoodie. We have, I think, one of those like controller things you put on your phone so you can like stream games to your phone. So now the children will never ask if you have games on your phone. They will know you have games on your phone when you have this.
Oh God, I gotta hold it up all the time.
We also have Magic the Gathering cards to give away. The lovely Tanuki Games here in Austin donated some Magic the Gathering cards, the Final Fantasy set, as well as Pokemon cards. We have so much to give away. Those cards we'll probably do during the Commander section today. I think we'll do giveaways during that. And then we'll have giveaways running throughout the weekend. So please, you don't have to donate right away. You don't have to do it right now, but you do have to do it at some point. We'll be telling you when giveaways are running. We'll let you know. So,
except for when the Pokemon cards are up, that's Pon Far. Everyone has to fight to the death. And then the winner gets it.
I was out doing errands yesterday, picking up, some essentials and stuff for the weekend. So I was stocked up and all that. I got my sparkling water on lock. And I was at Target, and there was just a line of dudes waiting for cards to restock. They were just watching this Target worker restock the card aisle so they could, like, storm it.
Wow.
And I kind of stopped and just watched the scene, watched humanity play out in front of me, and it was kind of interesting. But it was
just sitting on a bench at a mall and black market and just watching.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, if we get to $15,000, I will open these 2 Lord of the Rings magic packs and find a 1 ring. I know it's in here. It's the golden ticket. It's only worth like $90, but it would be kind of cool if I did that. But we're doing all of this in support of Trans Lifeline, which we have been raising money for over the last 4 years. It's a charity that is run by and for trans people. It's a grassroots hotline, and it offers direct emotional and financial support to trans people in crisis for the trans community by the trans community. That's according to their About page, and they're a huge help to the trans community. And frankly, the last couple of years has not been an amazing time for transgender people, unfortunately. So we are doing all we can here at Axe of the Blood God. Sena's kind of nodding, unfortunately, but we're just doing our best right over here, right?
Heck yeah.
It is greatly appreciated.
I do want to shout out, we're about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes into the stream. We're already at $515 raised. You love to see that.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you. So the rocket just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. So yes, keep donating. Come and help for a good cause. Some things that are going to be happening the rest of the day during the charity stream. I'm going to continue my Nuzlocke run for the 4th year in a row.
You can do it.
This could be the moment, y'all. This could be the make or break. this could be where the Nuzlocke run wins or goes down in flames. Because I'm at the 8th badge now, and I'm a little nervous. And the Elite Four awaits, and my team may be underleveled. Nadia is going to have to carry me.
What the hell
through
am
this.
I in this game? Because
You're a Feraligator.
That's pretty good. I can deal with being a Feraligator.
Kat, are
Yeah.
you saying that this Nuzlocke run is going to be forever, or it's going to go down in flames? That you'll tell me when it's over if the high was worth the pain? Do you have a long list of X Pokemon?
I thought this was going into Dragon Force.
Oh, Dragon. Okay. Yeah, I could have gone there. Yeah.
True RWX, we love you and you are remembered.
I think I saw the short where Drew WRX bid it. I forget what they were.
A shiny red Gyarados went.
Oh, well, that'll do it. One lightning, I'll take care of that. One lightning bolt.
Also, we had an Eevee. That Eevee died. That Eevee
He
is
died.
dead.
He
That
died.
Eevee did die.
That is an
Wow.
X Eevee.
He lied. He lied.
So we'll be there with Callie Plaguey and Casey DeFreitas, and we're gonna be like extending it a little bit so that we can try and get as far as we can. So this thing, I do think we'll go another year if it doesn't end in infamy. But Eric, side note, we should talk about what happens if I accidentally die during this stream.
I do
just
think
like throw up a graphic.
I do think you have to donate. And if you can send me a screenshot of the no signal from the rebirth stream, that'd be great too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that during the tavern. Nadia's going to be doing a Zelda randomizer. And specifically, Danny Music is going to be doing a Zelda randomizer, and Nadia is going to be watching. That'll be really fun, right, Nadia?
That'll be fun. Yeah, like I am interested in randomizers, but I haven't really had a chance to do them myself. So Danny, who is an expert runner, will be running it with us, and we'll be talking all things Zelda. Because even though I don't run Zelda: A Link to the Past, I know everything about it, or I think I do. So we'll see.
That's from 2 p.m. Pacific to 4 p.m. Pacific, and starting at 4 p.m. Pacific. Eric, Kate Sanchez, John Carson, and I will be playing Final Fantasy Commander, Magic the Gathering. We have decks. We're going to be playing against one another. I've got my cool Esper Terra deck, which I just got the Amano Art Commander card for.
Nice.
And we had an amazing game. I don't think I'm going to win this time, but we will see. And then starting at 7, we'll have Jackbox with tons of special guests, and we'll wrap up with Fuser with Eric. So, and then that all leads into Sunday, in which we will be streaming for another like 12 hours or more, and raising hopefully tons of money. Last year we raised $15,000.
We raised more than that. We raised like 19,000 last year.
Yeah,
we raised a lot of money.
Yeah,
those are rookie numbers.
Let's
get those up. Get those up.
Got to pump those numbers up. Okay.
Coffees are closing.
Promise we'll get to the main topic in just a second, but very quickly, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/bloodgodpod. Go buy special merch. We got this shirt, and we got this cool mug, and we've got lots of other things. We got this sick hoodie that I'm wearing right now. It's very comfortable.
Good. It's a good
And shop.bloodgodpod.com, promo code BloodGod2025 for 20% off on all merch throughout the weekend. We'll be donating some of that. We'll be donating proceeds to Trans Lifeline. So please go and buy merch. Support the podcast. Buy merch. Buy merch. We're wrapping up our book club this coming week. That's for the 5th season. That's going to be coming out this week. And we are currently voting on the next side quest, which is game nights. And right now it looks like it's between fighting games and playing Magic for a couple months.
As always.
So go and vote. That's available to patrons. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's also available to patrons. Whew, did I get anything out? Charlie and Dropouts, which Sena has been on. Very cool Final Fantasy 14 podcast.
Very welcome special guest.
Yay. And finally, a shout out to this week's Star of Destiny, which is Vivi Complex. Vivi, thank you so much
Vivi.
for your support. Woo, we love you,
Vivi.
Okay. Main topic time. We're going to defend our favorite Final Fantasy. And I think that people have been who've listened to this podcast for a long time will know what we're probably going to pick. Oh, Eric, I wanted to pitch this to you live on air, actually.
Good. That's the best way to pitch it to me. We definitely don't have group chats.
After we do our pick our games, can we have like a little poll and everybody can vote in the chat?
Yeah, I can make that happen. Yeah.
Can we do that? Doable. Can we do a poll?
Yeah, it'll be in the Twitch chat.
And what happens? The supporter of the loser Final Fantasy gets like corroded on camera.
We actually just go delete that Final Fantasy from canon. The lowest vote Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't want to defend your Final Fantasy, then it doesn't belong in the canon, So this is how we trim down.
You're either in or you're out.
We're in Apocalypse or wherever that planet is in the DC universe.
Oh, it's the one where they're all fighting in the arena? Is that how it is?
Yeah, they're all fighting.
Is that the War World or whatever?
Yeah, War World.
Yeah. We're on the War World, and we all have to sponsor our own Final Fantasy. Thankfully, I have a gun blade. What do you all have? My blade has a gun in it.
I have a Catboy.
I'm summoning my mom.
Don't summon your mom.
The most female-forward cast in the entire series.
Ooh.
There you go.
Okay, well, those are all of our hints as to what we're going to do. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to pick our Final Fantasy. We'll say a few words about it, and then everybody gets a chance to ask a cutting, or it doesn't have to be cutting. It could be really nice. Why is Final Fantasy VIII the best Final Fantasy? Why don't you tell me more about how Selphie's train song is the song that defined You can ask that question too. So, and we'll talk about it. It'll be great. But Sena, you're our special guest, and you're kind of hinting at which Final Fantasy
I said that,
you wanted
and then I
to pick.
immediately remembered 13 exists, and I was like, oh shit.
I feel that.
I mean,
I feel the pains.
I mean,
13 does have Fang and Vanille. 13 does have Fang and Vanille.
It has a pair of lesbians, and it has a female main character who doesn't have an obligatory romance, and that was amazing back in 2010.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So maybe mine isn't, but by the end of the game, you're still 2 out of 4 female characters, possibly 3. The third one's kind of trans. That's right. My favorite game, as you can see on camera, is good old Final Fantasy V.
Oh, I love that card.
Yeah.
Let's go.
My ROM card I bought off Etsy.
Yeah. Good choice.
Do I need to go get my copy of Final Fantasy VIII? It is over there. I do have my original OG copy of 8 from 1999 just sitting on my desk if we have to show off a prop. But Sena, why Final Fantasy V? I mean, you were just saying most female forward cast. Why else?
My first one was actually 4. I played it on an emulator. Because someone was like, I played Chrono Trigger, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. They were like, well, you like Final Fantasy? I'm like, what's Final Fantasy? I've never played Final Fantasy before. I got to play Final Fantasy. Oh. So I was like, okay. I already had ZSNES. I'm like, what do they got for the SNES? 4, 5, and 6. All right, let's go with 4. I didn't get too far in it. I think now it may have been because I had a weird ROM.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember there being like weird action RPG elements. I was like, oh, I don't like this. And then so I was like, okay, I'll try 5. Played 5, and I had grown up with Western RPGs like Baldur's Gate, Diablo, EverQuest, Might and Magic, those kind of things. So I love a good class system. You give me a solid class system, and I'm there. It gives me identity. It lets me assign identity to each of my characters. Lets me build their personality on top of what's presented in the game. And boy, howdy, you would be hard pressed to say any game except maybe X2. I'd say has a better class system in Final Fantasy than FF5. It's why they made Bravely Default basically just take it one for one. It's why they're using it now in Occult Crescent and FF14.
Hell yeah.
It has such... It gives you such replayability, and that is what... I love a good crafted story, don't get me wrong. I cried my heart out at 6 and 10 and 12, but give me that replayability. I'll come back to play that game year after year after year.
That's
also,
amazing.
yeah, Ferris is a trans icon. I'm just going to say that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Did not get a card in the Magic the Gathering set.
That's
deeply upsetting.
That's mean.
It's really funny. People were saying, "Hi." For those who don't know, I'm the voice of Wuk Lamont in Final Fantasy 14. I didn't really like start with that. I've had so many people come to me and be like, "Where's your card? You didn't get a card." And it's like, I love you guys, but also they designed these like 2 or 3 years ahead of the release, and Dawn Trail just came out to today, as of today, literally a year ago. So
happy birthday to Dawn Trail.
But
still time. They'll do another set.
Hey, they'll do another set, right? Another set.
Yeah.
I can make internet chuds mad in the future.
But Final Fantasy V did exist 2 or 3 years ago, so really no excuse for not having a Ferris card that I could put in with my lightning.
Was there a Sildra one at least? Did we get the logo for the game in the? We did get a Sildra.
A Sildra, maybe? I don't remember actually. So I apologize. 5 was kind of underrepresented, unfortunately.
Do you have a Sildra mount in 14?
Oh yeah. When they announced that for, I think it was Stormblood that came out with, I was like, well, I got that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Final Fantasy V. What's your take on Exdeath as a villain?
Do you like 80s fantasy movies? If so, you can't say Exdeath is cheesy or you don't like Exdeath. Come on. It's straight up like legend or, yeah. There is always the argument of like, well, it was supposed to be Exodus, but it got mistranslated from the katakana Exodesu, which could be either one. And 5 does have an interesting history in that a lot of, thankfully, they got rid of butts and made it like, no, it's Bart's, guys. It's Bart's. But a lot of the stuff, because the way I played it, the first way a lot of people in the West first played it was through a fan translation. One of the very first fan translations that was patched into a ROM and then distributed via the internet. A lot of the translations from that are still held as like, some are held officially as canon and some as like very much unofficially as canon. One being Exdeath. It's like, it's Exdeath, which I guess maybe that was intended, but also people much prefer to this day still, and I am one of them, prefer Ferris's original accent dialect, if you will, to the hardy har har West Country, pirate accent they gave her in the GBA translation.
Yeah. It's actually there are a couple more instances where mistranslations became canon, with Ultros being a main example, who's supposed to be Orthos. And and the same with like Rally Ho and Lally Ho. Like there are instances, like there have been instances where Ultros goes back to Orthos, but he always goes back to Ultros. And Rally Ho, they tried that for one game, and then they went back to Lally Ho. So yeah, absolutely. I could see the I think that's kind of a nice way to respect the fan translation without outright like stating anything, just being like Exdeath. Yeah, Exodus, now that you say it, okay, that makes sense. But do I care? He's been Exdeath for so long.
Also, he's got Exdeath and Golbez, I think, are peak Amano designs.
Oh, like, I love Golbez.
The best of the best of the best. They're so good. Big armored mages and intricate, beautiful, armor or whatnot. Chef's kiss. Also, he has one of the hardest lines, one of the baddest lines in the entire series, when he just screams, the laws of the universe mean nothing! And then black holes your entire party.
Wow.
He's not wrong. If you're going to black hole a party, you don't give a shit about the universe and its gravity.
In Magic, I swear, like, just take a shot every time I mention Magic. But there's a card called Evil Reawakened.
Don't do that. Has that's not going to end well for you.
You will die.
Make it a shot of water. A shot of
water. Hydrate. And then donate to Trans Lifeline. Here's a donate every time I mention Magic the Gathering. That's much better.
There we go.
People. Yay. There's a card called Evil Reawakened in which Exdeath, and it features Exdeath because it's kind of an iconic scene when he comes back in FF5. And then the card itself, Exdeath is in the set, will flip, and you get the really badass cosmic
Neo
horror,
Exdeath,
the Thing, Neo Exdeath version of him.
The thing.
I guess this is mild read spoilers for FF14, but the model and the image has been out for ages. I love that FF14 is actually like taken artwork like Neo X Death and Zeromus, where you look at the sprite, you're like, I don't know what the hell that is, and like showed, no, actually this is what it is in 3D space, and you're like, oh, I finally see it after 30 years. This is awesome.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I had that instance where they upgraded the sprites with the PSP version for Final Fantasy IV, and it's like, oh man, Zeromus has a boner. This is really uncomfortable. I don't know how I feel about this. Going back to the
Gnosis designs in Xenosaga after 20 years. Oh!
Oh, that's what he was saying.
Good heavens.
Eric, ask your question.
My question for Final Fantasy V? I guess it would be that I always hear people talk up the story of Final Fantasy or the classes of Final Fantasy V, but never the story of Final Fantasy V. Do you feel like the story in the cast can hold up to the scrutiny of the highs? You know, you're kind of boxing with the giants here against 6, against 10, against stuff like that. You know.
You know how I only recently thought of this metaphor. I look at the Final Fantasy series like I look at the Ghibli canon collection.
Universe, I guess.
Yeah, universe, and like if you're looking at 6 and 10, you're looking at Spirited Away, you're looking at Castle in the Sky. 5 and like 9 are like Kiki's Delivery Service and My Neighbor Totoro. We still love them. They're still great stories. We're not looking for necessarily a high fantasy epic with drama that tugs at our heartstrings, even though there are some lines that will make me tear up in 5 every time there's an optional scene where Ferris goes to Bart's and says, this one makes me tear up even now, where she goes, Bart's is at his father's grave, and Ferris goes, is a father a good thing to have? Or was it a nice thing? It's like, is that a good thing to have? And I'm like, fuck, man.
No.
But yeah, no, if you're looking like, if I were to say my favorite story, I'd say 10 or 12 or 14. But I am, despite being a writer and an actor by profession, I'm still when it comes to games, I need the mechanics, I need the gameplay, I need the juice.
The juice.
Be best friends with Kat. Little Miss Systems.
Ooh, give me a good sicko like Disgaea system and
Disgaea. Hold on, now we're going into a different that's exiting the atmosphere and entering the outer limits. Yeah,
I'm gonna back up Sena here. I think Final Fantasy V has a good story. I think that it is very emotional. All of the characters grow in interesting ways. I think the two female leads, Ferris, and why am I forgetting her name? The other princess,
Lena.
Lena, yeah.
Yeah.
Lena, yeah.
Lena. They're great. They have such a I love that their relationship, right? And there's a lot of gender queerness going on in this one, and and sacrifice and emotions, and when they all ride into the sunset, my heart was very full in that game.
It knows what it is story-wise. Like, it's not out there to tell like Final Fantasy VI's epic story. But when you think about, we're talking about like Ghibli and say My Neighbor Totoro versus Spirited Away, both emotional for very different reasons. It's like My Neighbor Totoro is such a contained story about a family and what they're going through because of the sickness in the family. And that one scene where, is it Mai's little girl? Or she's just lying in the puddle, like trying to, because she wants to see your mom. And I know that helpless feeling of like wanting to follow your mother, but you don't know where she is. You can't even begin to fathom where she's gone. So you just kind of stumble wherever and end up face down in a puddle, hoping to God someone finds you.
I love Gallup as a character. Old man riding a meteor, very cool. Yeah, and actually, I played it all the way through for the first time last year. I was surprised how fast I got through it, because I had always kind of run out of gas, and then I finally pushed through. When it gets to the second world, it really starts to pick up steam and just keeps going. And by the end, I was just like, I'm all in. This is an incredible game. Make sure that you have a blue mage because you're gonna have a bad time if you don't. Nadia, did you have any question that you wanted to ask for this one?
Is Boko the best chocobo, or is it another chocobo?
It's the chocobo. No, sorry, the chocobo in Saz's hair in 13 is the best chocobo.
That's fair. I don't think that chocobo has a name, does it? It's just chocobo.
In Magic,
probably
it's
does.
Saz's chocobo.
Saz's chocobo is pretty great.
I'm gonna Final Fantasy Wiki this right now.
I feel like I've heard someone say Chocolina once before, but I think that's a different chocobo.
Oh wait. Oh no, I think you're right because there's the in 13.2.
No,
the
no,
chocobo
Chocolina. Yeah, Chocolina is a. Oh wait, what?
Oh, simply known as the chocobo. Oh. I take it back. Boko is the best chocobo in Final Fantasy V.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm sorry. What happened to the
In Final
chocobo in the
Fantasy.
hair? Something went wrong. Everyone changed. Nobody eats a chicken sandwich. It's all fine. So yeah, Boko is the best chocobo, I suppose. I'm gonna actually put in a vote for my chocobo in FF14, whom I named Jollibee. But yeah, I do love Boko. Boko was a very intelligent chocobo.
The chocobo
Eric.
in 16 is a good one too. I still haven't finished that.
Eric,
I'm sorry. I got lost in the wiki and found out that apparently, yeah. This might be 13 spoilers. This might be 13 spoilers. I'm sorry if you're.
It's fine. I don't care.
Apparently, Saz's chocobo becomes a human woman who becomes a merchant in Final Fantasy, the later
What's wrong with this game?
13s.
This is the same game with a scissoring lesbian Shiva motorcycle, isn't it?
Yes, it's the same. It's the same
Nothing
one.
wrong there. Nothing wrong there.
Yeah.
the vibe.
Someone was having a moment when they made this game.
I just want to ask the writers at 13 how they're feeling. All right, are they doing okay? Things going all right?
It's fine. We worked it out. We're good. We got it out of our system with the motorcycle.
God.
I like that this low-key became a Final Fantasy 13 appreciation podcast as much as
Was
Final
that
Fantasy.
appreciation just now? Who can say?
Yeah, I feel like we're appreciating it.
I mean,
Sure.
2 and 13. One day, people will remember those exist.
Yeah, one day those games. Well, they're on PC now, right? Or at least the base 13 is.
Jada Griffin from IGN is a big Final Fantasy 13 stan. I once upon a time did the guides for OneUp.com for Final Fantasy 13 when it originally came out.
All three
Played
are
it on
Steam,
the
okay.
Xbox 360, which at the time was a Final Fantasy on an Xbox console. Scandal. Can
I remember.
you believe it?
Yeah,
Scandalous.
Scandalous.
that's where I played it.
yes, but I had lived long enough to see the PlayStation betrayal, so I knew. These children who are like, they can't do that. They have console exclusivity. Oh, my sweet summer child, you don't understand.
Eric, you're up.
My turn for my Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was gonna try and come up with like an inventive, fun outside pick. Y'all know what I'm picking already. Come on, it's Final Fantasy X.
It's 15.
No, it's not.
Okay.
15. Look, 15. I have wanted to go back and play, and actually because of the Magic
Shiva
set,
made
I
a
want to go
compelling
play.
case.
I want to go play 2 at some point now because of the Final Fantasy set.
Me
because
too.
it makes
Victor,
2
I
look
want
really
Abe
cool.
We need to get
But
Victor in here so
I-
he can stand for Final Fantasy 2.
But Final Fantasy
I want
X.
FFG Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Final Fantasy X is like, granted, this was the first one that really attached to me. I played 8, 7, 9 in various ways, renting from video stores and stuff like that, and they definitely were interesting, but I never really cared much. And I remember getting the Game Informer magazine of 10 and being just enamored with the entire idea of it. And so when it came out, I've told the story before about how my family rented a PS2 for my birthday to play from the video store, but didn't get a memory card. So I played the opening of Final Fantasy X like 12 times. And eventually I did get the full game and start playing it. And I love everything about 10. I've played it recently and it holds up. It's an incredible turn-based combat system. I think the sphere grid is honestly one of the best, like, mechanics for character progression and character build making in most any RPG. It is incredible. It's so well done. It's such a thoughtful and interesting system that's so easy to manipulate, that gives you ideas as you go, gives you those little locks and things to start thinking about how you might want to expand characters or have them dip into each other's classes and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. I love the story. I think it is absolutely one of the best stories in the entire Final Fantasy continuum. It's so well told. I love Tidus. I love Yuna. I love Auron, Kimahri. Like, all these characters are so memorable. I think it has one of the best casts in Final Fantasy, hands down. Also has some of the best villains. We love the church sucks story, all right? Everybody loves a good church sucks story. Especially in Heaven's Word, where we talk about church sucks because they don't let you fuck the dragons. Yeah, but church sucks in 10, and then you have Seymour Guado, who is he's perfect. I'm sorry, like Seymour is
the quintessential early 2000s JRPG villain. He really is.
Like this was the first Final Fantasy with voice acting, right? And
that's right.
I think most of the voice cast just does an incredibly good job. And even some of the weird idiosyncrasies, the like sped up talking in some of the parts to match the pace of the Japanese script. It honestly becomes very affecting. I love the meme about Tidus where Bahamut's Faith is telling him like, you're bisexual now, and he's like, but wait, I like girls. He's like, bisexuals can like girls too, and he's like, I forgot about bisexuality. it's so good, but it like mirrors the cadence so perfectly, and it's that kind of cadence that you read it and you can hear it in your head. But Seymour Guado is honestly one of the best parts of that voice cast. The way he just walks in, Nadia, you were comparing him before the show to Maximilian Pegasus, and yeah, just walks. He's like, I am Seymour Guado. I'm here to make all your worries disappear. And then you're like, oh, this dude's definitely the villain.
No, I actually like I was thinking about this. Is the idea of kind of a half-breed character, quote unquote, is very prevalent in Final Fantasy games. 4 has it, 6 has it, 10 has it. But what interests me about 10 is that this is an instance where they tried to make Seymour as like a, having both worlds, so you can be, foster peace between the peoples, and everyone hated him. So just that plan, which always comes out, at least okay part of the time when they try it as a fantasy trope, it just completely backfired this time. And I mean, that's realistic. Sometimes when you're from both worlds are going to hate you. So
I think 10 is a surprisingly complex text when it comes down to it, because the main plot of sin and the kind of cycle of destruction, I love the feeling of going on the pilgrimage. People call it like, oh, it's a hallway game. Yeah, but like it's an intentional hallway game. You have this feeling of like always moving towards an inevitable end, and then it's only once you decide that you're not going to adhere to that, you're not going to follow that, is when the game opens up and the world becomes something else to you. But you have all these incredible ways that you see the chaos and destruction and ruin as you're kind of following in Sin's wake in different places. I think that early it's the temple where you get Ifrit, that town, Kilika, is such an impactful moment, and that has so many incredible moments. As the fight against Sin when you're getting there on the boat, that's so big and impressive. And you have the fight underwater right after it. Then you have the actual island itself, and Yuna dances on the water. People die, and Yuna dances. And then you have the entire fight at the temple with the Sin spawn, and with you get Ifrit in there too. It's so well done. Like, there's so many incredible moments in that game, and most importantly, the incredible world leads us to Final Fantasy X-2.
Let's go,
girl.
Yes, I had to have a soundboard just for that. 10-2, I would also make the case that 10-2 is like a top 5 all-time Final Fantasy. It is an incredibly well-made Final Fantasy. It's so good. The job system borrows from 5 very heavily, and you don't have 10-2 without 10. So I love everything about 10. I think there's a reason why it's so beloved, and I'm not going to pretend just because it is a popular pick like it's not also an amazingly good video game. So I love Final Fantasy 10.
10-2 better than 10, because that's the one that lets you have Yuna be in charge, unlike 10, which gets hijacked by a whiny, like 18-year-old kid with daddy issues.
Okay, this is the Evangelion thing where you gotta have Shinji Ikari because you know what? People are not always good and admirable. Sometimes they personify the worst aspects of ourselves, and we gotta respect that.
Eric, Jecht was right. Jecht was right.
Jecht was kind of right. Sometimes
Jecht
a kid just has bad vibes.
Ted really is the Tales of the Abyss of the Final Fantasy series, isn't it?
He's not a great dad. He's kind of an asshole. Maybe that's
that's kind of why it's such a compelling, like not the B narrative. I like the outer narrative and the inner narrative. And the inner narrative is you got an awful dad and an awful son, and they're buddy, and this is how they butt heads.
They actually have a great scene in Dissidia. I don't know if it's called O12 or what the hell they call it, but basically
was it NT or something like that? Yeah.
I don't know. No, that was the arcade version.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's a fight between Jecht and Tidus, and Jecht is like, why are you such an asshole? And there's like, and Tidus is like, ask yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Got it from you, Dad.
I learned it watching you. Jecht smoking too much marijuana. No, then he'd be chill. Jecht on marijuana would be a lot better than Jecht on alcohol.
Eric, are you pro Blitzball or anti Blitzball?
I'm pretty pro Blitzball. Like I think it doesn't control great, and honestly, I would like a world where it uses full 3D space. I know limitations of the time, but it's kind of weird that you're swimming
Captain
in
Tsubasa
an orb.
in a water sphere.
Yeah, but I think
cool.
I think a lot of the mechanics, you always have. I think Final Fantasy used to be very, very good at this, and that has kind of waxed and waned over the years. But having like the really, really just lush, complete side game within the game, Rebirth kind of brought it back with Queen's Blood, but 16 and 15 didn't really have anything in that regards. They had other stuff on the side, but I don't remember it having anything to the level of Triple Triad or Blitzball or stuff like that. But Blitzball, I think one of my favorite parts was it introduced this idea of being able to recruit random NPCs. So if you walk up to an NPC, you could be like, hey, I want to scout you for my Blitzball team. And you could be in the middle of just like home is being destroyed by the church and stuff like that. And you're like, hey,
want to play Blitzball?
So like we're really looking for a power, right? The right wing's kind of messed up right now.
And your name is Keepa. So you want to
our midfield's kind of lacking, and we really need a strong boot with the commanding presence in the midfield to kind of back up the offense. How can you feed like the open man? Like, how are you feeling about that? You're like, dude, there's like people dying outside. It's like, yeah, but we can sign you to like 3 seasons about like 100,000 gil. Yeah,
you're gonna live with a capital L.
But the Aurochs need a midfielder. So are you in? We're going to win the championship.
I kind of love that. And I think the mechanics are really fun too. I like being able to kind of like spy other players' abilities and leech them onto yourself, and the like strategy around that of like, oh, I need to make sure that my characters are not just engaging with the match, but also like leeching abilities from the right players and picking up like a good resolute skill set. So yeah, it's really strong. Yeah.
I think I would hearing this now. I think I would have enjoyed Blitzball more if it was just the Football Manager 2025 aspect of it, as opposed to now you have to go in and actually play the game. Like I would love to just manage the be the guy with the awful mustache and the chewing gum on the sidelines, and I would love that.
Yeah, the Coach Bobby Knight of my own Blitzball team. I could throw a chair into the water sphere.
Jecht shot is broken.
Jecht shot is very good.
Okay, I asked my question. Nadia, Sena, do you have questions for Eric?
Jecht shot is how Tidus was conceived. Is that a question? No.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Wow, Nadia's on fire today.
Just wait until Jecht shot number 2.
Oh no.
No.
Spyrus donated $100 after you said that. I just want to point that
out. I mean, if it takes being filthy, no, I won't do that. We're going to have a very civilized stream today.
We're going blue already.
I don't know exactly what to ask. Like, it was a good game. Like, it wasn't my favorite, but I certainly enjoyed. Like, have you ever gotten a perfect score in the lightning fields? There you go.
I've actually never done the lightning field ultimate weapon. I think if I was going to poke holes in my own argument, just sink my own ship for fun, I think the ultimate weapon stuff in 10 is probably some of the more frustrating ultimate weapon stuff in any Final Fantasy. I see what they were doing with it, and I think some of it's very well done. I think Yuna's ultimate weapon stuff tied to the summons and getting all of the summons, like all of the optional ones around Spira, is really solid because you end up doing the Anima side quest, which is low-key very, very good. And the Magus Sisters side quest, also very, very good. And the Magus Sisters are such a fun, interesting summon. Like, still probably one of my favorite summons in all of Final Fantasy. Not beating number 1 Leviathan, but close. But I will say, like, I think the Tidus doing a Chocobo race doesn't really make sense for him. Waka Blitzball, sure. Lulu lightning dodging. Like, at some point, like, you get the idea that somebody was sitting there was like, oh shit, we haven't found a reason.
Why would she be a lightning dodger? She has like a million buckles that could probably attract lightning.
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably why she had to dodge so much lightning. I forgot what you have to do to get.
She's too cool to get hit by lightning.
Why does Cloud snowboard after Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII?
But Lulu's not stupid. Lulu's not stupid
enough to go, I'm going to go on the lightning field.
Yeah, we all grieve. Yeah.
Absolutely right, actually.
And like, I don't even remember what Riku's was. I don't think I've ever gotten Riku's, because Riku is just there to make the wings of whatever that give you 9999 on everything. She's there for that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Riku takes apart the annoying robots at the beginning of the game.
She does. Riku really low-key goated party member. Like, when she shows up at the beginning, like, blasting open the ruins and throwing grenades and stuff like that, I was like, who is this? She rocks. And then she just, like, beats the piss out of Tidus for, like, 10 minutes and is like, you're gonna work for me now? And I was like, she's awesome.
Yes,
and
man.
then
Riku, best character in the Teniverse.
Yeah.
She was absolutely my MVP in X2. I had her as a berserker, and I was just like, go, my Scarab.
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
Sena,
my question.
Okay.
I'm curious. I had a difficulty coming up with the question, too, because, like, 10 is absolutely one of my top 5. Probably, I'd say my top 4 favorite FF. And my top 5, they're all very close. So I would ask then, this is just me curious, if 10 is your favorite, are you also on the same page as me, and that the PS2 era is your favorite era of Final Fantasies?
Of Final Fantasies?
Yeah.
I've never really thought about it.
If you split it NES, SNES, yeah.
I don't have any nostalgia for anything before PS1 because I wasn't playing anything before PS1. And I mean, once we get past PS2, I feel like the generations are just individual games. 13 is like one generation, 14 is one generation. Yeah. So I guess PS2 would be my favorite because I like 10 the most. 10-2 is definitely up there. I still am about halfway through 12, but I would like to finish it a lot, and I really do like 12. I think 12's characters are fantastic. I think the world is fantastic. Like, it's the most Evilise, Old Republic ass, like high fantasy, just really, really good stuff. So I think that might be right. I think I am a PS2 enjoyer the most. I do like the Super Nintendo stuff. We'll finish 6 one day, but
I think for me it's PS1, SNES. I think for me it's PS1, SNES, PS2, other, and all the rest, all the others out there, yeah, and the rest of them. So, well, that was Final Fantasy X. Nadia, how about you? What do you got? It's not 6.
No, I'm not going to go with 6. I'm going to go.
It's a controversial one.
Is 4 controversial? Is 4 really controversial?
No, I was making a joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to go controversial, like, I don't know. But 4 is just a good one to defend because it's, I know it's easy, but, you know, it's also not a perfect RPG. It's very on rails, ironically, compared to, like, Final Fantasy V, which really lets you go in terms of your party building and whatnot. Whereas 4, you'll take what they give you unless you're playing with the special editions. But it has, like, one of my favorite stories of sin and redemption. And I think they echo that really well as well in 14, but that's something else to talk about. Very simple, very Star Wars kind of. We saw this yesterday, and now we're making our own version. We saw it filed out serial numbers. But it also spawned a really unusual sequel that nobody likes except for me, Victor, and Ash from Good Vibes Gaming. So good for that. Oh, and it gave us like I know 2 gave us Dragoons before, but
really quickly, why do you and Victor like the after years? Which, by the way, is
because
like the college years. Final Fantasy IV, the college years.
because it's just completely messed up. And it's just, if you're a fanfic writer like myself, everyone has these psychological issues that you can really play with. It's a lot of fun to write. I really respect everyone, I suppose. I don't know. Yeah, so, well, After Years also, I've told this story a million times, but After Years also has the instance with Edward, who is the bard from, the Spoony Bard himself from FF4, and he loses the love of his life, Anna, in an attack by Golbez and the Kingdom of Baron. And in the After Years, he's the only one without, like, a partner, I guess, and everyone else is having these babies, and he's not having crap. And a citizen from his kingdom comes up to him and says, like, wow, if Anna was still alive, you'd surely have an heir by now, which is, like, just...
Wow, bud.
Yeah. So I'm like, and Edward really gets a great glow up in that game, because in FF4, yeah, he is a bit of a coward. Actually, he's a big coward. But if you play the supplemental versions of 4, where you can play as Edward or you play the After Years, he becomes a real powerhouse, a bard, the way a bard should be, if you know how to use him properly. So I'll give After Years an A for the glow up for Edward at least. But it's not exactly, it's not the kind of place I'd tell regular people to tread. That is not a great game. But yeah, ask me your questions about 4. I'll sit here and defend them.
All right.
How many heroic sacrifices can you have before they cease to be heroic?
Is this a clapback about Kane? Are you attacking Kane?
Kind of all of them. They all kind of die at some
It does
point.
happen a lot.
And then they come back.
Well, let's see. Yang didn't die. He went underground and the fairies took care of him. He can't use him. Edward doesn't die either. He just kind of gets like sidelined. But that's the reason. The reason why they do that is because they want you to keep playing with their party members. So you're always shifting in between like different characters, and that's actually a good opportunity for you to try out different playstyles. Like, one moment you're using Kane, who can jump. Next moment you're using Yang, who can do kick or focus, was really good. And then they take away Yang, and they force you to use Edge, who's a really subpar kind of
Ninja.
Yang, but at least
he's like Shadow, but worse.
Shadow's a lot better. He can do like he has a ninja magic where he does like I can't remember the name of the spell, but he made copies of himself, and that way he can't get hit. And I will say this much: he's really necessary for that last stretch before you get to Golbez, and you're at the very last stage of the final dungeon, because he has a smoke ability where he lights one up and just like, no, I'm just kidding. He has a smoke ability where if you're fighting the random enemies in that area, which are all bosses, and you can't run away from them, he can use smoke to get away from them, and that's pretty cool. So he's worth it there. After that, he's kind of like, I'm Edge. How you doing? I like girls, I guess.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How do you feel? Because there's a few Final Fantasies that do this. 4 is one of them, where 8, 9, and I know there are others I can't think of at the moment that also do this, where the final boss is one of those just kind of comes out of nowhere, like, who the hell is that? Like, you have Zeromus, Ultimecia, Necron, where it's like, it makes sense with like, okay, when you explain the themes of the story to me afterwards, it makes sense, but at the moment you're like, what? I thought it was Zemus. What's going on here? How do you feel about that? Because that's a big stickling point for me in these games.
That is extremely 90s SNES RPG ass mechanics right there.
I mean,
and I agree with you, because Zeromus is really an asshole. Golbez is a fun villain. Actually, another reason why I like After Years is because you play a lot as Golbez, and he's a really kick-ass black mage, and he's really sexy as hell underneath all that armor. So yeah, I'm good with that. But yeah, it's not even the fact that it's like, okay, here's Zemus from the Lunarians, and I like the concept of Zemus. Where like,
I like Zemus, I'm okay with, and I think the fact that what kind of like I feel like a lot of Final Fantasies do this where there's like the actual villain, like there's Jack, there's Kuja, there's Idea. Am I saying her name right? I think I'm saying her name right. And then it's like they're kind of forgotten in favor of Ultimecia and Yevon, or I guess maybe not Yevon as much, but
I do like the fact though that when Golbez finds out, like, oh shit, I've been taken advantage of, he recruits his uncle. He realizes this moon guy's my uncle. Do you know strong magic? Yeah, okay, let's go kick Zero Miss's ass. But you're right. I don't really understand to this day why, like, okay, there's Golbez and there's Zemus who's controlling him. Okay, who the hell is Zero Miss? To this day, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that because I always figured maybe it was a mistranslation, something didn't get like explained properly, which happened all the time with the SNES games. To my knowledge, it's just one of those situations where the developers are like, hey, it's 5 o'clock. I want a beer. Let's go.
Or, hey, we have extra funny time. What's that boss you wanted to put in? Let's make him the final boss. Why not? Okay, yeah.
The Koosh
monster design. The Nomura, was Nomura doing the monster design, or was that only after 6 after? I was gonna say, you got that one guy. Oh. You got that one guy you drew, right? Let's put him in.
We were start with 6. Yeah,
we do have Victor chiming in from the edit bay with a defense of the After Years, by the way.
Oh, hell
After Years has a massive cast with potential weird synergy, punishing old school challenge dungeons, and I love a budget asset recycle that recontextualizes.
That's true. That's fair, and it actually does have some pretty interesting character moments.
You're right, Victor. I'm gonna go play Revenant Wings.
I think the thing that annoys me about Victor is that he's always right. It's really frustrating.
He'll just have the most like out of left field takes, but then he'll defend them to the hilt.
And you'll hear it and you'll be like,
extremely well researched.
Yeah.
And he goes against the grain, but in a way that is very endearing. So shout out to you, Victor. We love you. You're great.
Someone's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to say, you know what? Your takes on Final Fantasy II were wrong, and it's actually great. So I think a reevaluation is in order of Final Fantasy II.
There is actually a great scene in After Years where Golbez meets Theodore, his nephew, and Golbez is just like, who the fuck are you? Like, he doesn't know what to do with this kid. But they do become, like, friends, because it's actually sweet because Theodore's like, oh, I heard you're from the moon. I'm kind of interested in my heritage there. And Golbez is like, oh, that's nice. I'll teach you about all that. And so they had a moment.
Oh, yeah.
I love you, Dad.
I love you, Uncle.
Kat, I believe it's your turn now.
My turn?
Yeah.
My turn? Okay. Well, I already was kind of alluding to this, and I had to go get my prop.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what?
Oh, yep.
Was somebody going to say something? I just wanted to make sure.
Eric, did you ask a follow-up question?
My question would have been about After Years. I feel like it's been covered.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Covered to death. Okay.
I'm not going to risk the smiting of Victor from beyond the edit bay. Yeah.
Thank you, Victor.
Okay. My game is Final Fantasy VIII. This is the copy that I bought in high school. And this is the game, not Final Fantasy VI, not Final Fantasy VII, that made me fall in love with RPGs. It made me realize what the RPG genre could be, which is giving me a battle system that I could break relentlessly. And it felt so, so good. The junction system, delightful. The abilities that you can grind and attach to your characters, the customization, peak. But I haven't even talked about the world building. Just visually, it's surprisingly cohesive, but also different. It's a vibe. Final Fantasy VIII is a vibe all the way through. And when I picked it up again a couple years ago for the Pantheon, which you can listen to if you're a $10 supporter of Axe of the Blood God, it made me appreciate Final Fantasy VIII a lot more. Not just because of the systems, which are still really delightful and offer you a lot of routes into succeeding in that game, whether it's kind of abusing limit breaks, or you can make your characters really strong or really weak. You can abuse triple triad, which, by the way, is the best minigame in all of Final Fantasy, period. But the production values are such a level ahead of Final Fantasy VII. I mean, they really leveled up their game in that one. Just the opening. Oh my god. Liberi Fatali? Wow. Jeez, it's just Uematsu was given the task of saying, okay, beat One-Winged Angel, and he said, mission accepted. And he did. Like, when I can watch that anytime, any place, that entire sequence, it's great. But there are a lot of less appreciated moments throughout that game. The Battle of Balam Garden, I was talking about that last night, actually, where you're running through CG battle scenes. There's a moment where you're fighting a whole hockey team for some reason.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the hockey team from hell in Balam.
Oh god,
Final
that's
Fantasy
right.
VIII confirmed a Canadian RPG.
There's a Tyrannosaurus Rex that lives in Balam Garden for some reason.
I do love the Balamsar. Yeah.
I so miss when an older Final Fantasies and older JRPGs in general would just like the monster design was like, yeah, I drew some hockey guys. All right, put them in. Does it fit the world? Nope, not really. Put them in. It's great.
You're fighting the hockey team.
Japan
this
does
is an alligator with wheels. Put them in.
Ice skating representation, like a lot of like ice hockey representation, like if any. And it is just so weird that they have a hockey rink in Balam, ice hockey rink, where the Canadians they took over and said,
right. Was it Galbadia
the
Garden?
Canadians.
I think you have to fight Galbadia Gardens. Galbadia is Canadian.
Galbadia's Canada. I see. So they're very angry.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Galbadia. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just imagining the Galbadian hockey league has been canceled on account of the entire hockey team being killed by Squall Leonhard. But there's a lot of really fantastic side quests in this one. The Omega Weapons side quest is really cool. Getting all of the different weapons through the magazines is interesting. This was a time when Square was really experimenting a lot with RPG elements. One of Reb's favorite RPGs is Moon RPG Remix, and I think Final Fantasy VIII it came out about the same year, and it was very much the same spirit of these developers had been making the same kind of RPG for like 13 years at that point, from Dragon Quest all the way up till Final Fantasy VIII, and they're like, what can we do with the usual systems? And so they kind of rethought everything from how you get weapons to how you make money in this game. Like you get paychecks.
Yeah,
you get paychecks.
Just what I wanted. You get paychecks, Eric.
You get paychecks.
How did I not know this about this video game?
That is one of the few things I remember so little. I played through all of FF8. I remember so little of it. That is one of the things I remember was like, oh, I got an allowance.
I'm gonna cut my allowance because I was effing around too much.
They thought about their systems a lot, and not all of it works. I'll acknowledge that, but a lot of it does actually, and it comes together in a lot of ways. This is the game that had the first vocalized song in Final Fantasy history, Eyes on Me. And I mean, it had sorceresses in space. It had the lunatic Pandora. It had time compression. It's a really special game, and it's the one that will always be first in my heart. So Final Fantasy VIII, that's the one. I will take and I'll accept your questions about why it's great.
Do you want to go first, Nadia?
Does Laguna count as a deadbeat dad or not?
Huh?
Does Laguna count as a deadbeat dad or not?
Deadbeat dad? No, Laguna's great. We all love Laguna.
No, I agree with you. But okay.
No notes. Laguna is one of the highlights of the game, and
should we play more of Laguna in the game?
Yes, you should. Because Man with the Machine Gun is an incredible song.
It's such a great.
Full on, I think the best Final Fantasy theme, and actually I think Final Fantasy VIII has one of the best battle themes. Period. Several of their battle themes are just really excellent. Also, the Extreme, the song that plays when you're fighting 3 forms of Ultimecia, fantastic. Really, really strong stuff. Driving beat. It really brings me back to Zeramis in Final Fantasy IV, actually. It's also riffs a lot on the sorceress theme, which another fantastic. They just really stepped it up in 8. But no, getting back to it, Laguna should have been a commander in Magic the Gathering. Take a shot and then donate to Trans Lifeline. And he's much more likable than Cloud, or than Squall, actually. Squall's actually one of my least favorite parts of this game, still.
I think that does make them interesting, though, that they're that contrast. Like Laguna being so friendly and happy, outgoing, Squall's being a lion baby.
So that's a great segue into my question. If you want to go into that, I feel, because that is what has always kept 8 back for me, is I don't like the characters. I do not only don't like the characters, I do not vibe with any of them. So my question is, if an FF8 remake were to happen, how much do you think they should kind of rework some of the characters a little bit? And also, who would you cast for the voice actor for Squall? You can't say Ben Starr.
Oh. Who would I cast for the voice actor? Troy Baker.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just
no. Troy should be Laguna. I think Troy should be
there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Send Batar.
You're putting me on the spot here.
Mr. Snrub.
But do you think they should how much work do you think should be put into kind of maybe sprucing up the characters a little bit, because that was such a huge critique at the time, is because that was the height of the emo movement and in the US, and there was so much oh my god, this emo protagonist, whatever.
Oh god, River Phoenix is so sad right
Actually,
now.
One of the things I think they would have a hard time with a remake is you spend a lot of time in Squall's head. You see the little text boxes that are showing his inner monologue. That's not easy to capture with voice acting. And actually, I think it's one of the things that works really well in Final Fantasy VIII, is that you spend a lot of time
thinking about I had forgotten about bisexuality, because it's exactly what I was thinking.
It was 50% that, and it was 50% this terrible thing is happening. It's what is Squall thinking right now? It just goes up. It's I threw up.
I threw up.
I mean, it's
the
about
Patrick
his
Star,
journey from being kind of a dick to not being a dick, and it's a good journey.
He's a teenager.
There's definitely character growth. I mentioned Tales of the Abyss before. I love that game, but I do feel I'm just curious how you feel about it. As someone who remembers and loves FF8 way more than I do, because I need to replay that again, because I think they could.
I think they could spend a lot of time. I think all of the characters have hooks that I really enjoy, and I would like to see deepened. I would like them to spend some time on Quistis, who initially has a crush on Squall in a kind of inappropriate teacher-student kind of way.
Is it a high school or is it a college?
Persona 3 Reload treatment.
Is it more of a college or a high school?
Yeah, is it a college or a high school?
It's a college.
I'm not saying that one of those is ethically better than the others. I'm just saying that I've never known that about FF8, whether it's supposed to be Persona style or whether it's more older characters.
They're supposed to be teenagers, but they all look like they're in their early 20s.
Yeah, I was going to say it gives the vibes of grad school.
I actually like Renoa and Angelo. I think Renoa's the spoiled rich girl who they both kind of grow up throughout the course of the game. I think Selphie, her relentless cheerful optimism, and the fact that she keeps a blog, I think you can really do a lot with that.
Definitely.
One.
Oh yeah.
In a potential remake. Zell loves hot dogs. I mean,
you can shove a bunch down his throat all at once. That's good entertainment.
Irvine wears a hat
with the
and
word
has a shotgun.
Make it into the localization.
Irvine's
hat. A cowboy. Hat.
Irvine
cowboy.
Has
a shotgun.
There is always somebody in a group who's my personality, hat.
Hat. He shoots a basketball during the memory and it misses. And I read an entire blog about why it was really brave for Irvine to miss that shot in Final Fantasy VIII.
Is that Selphie's blog, or is that a real world blog?
It was a blog. It's a real world blog.
That's a blog. That's a blog with gumption. Yeah. Let me tell you, we don't blog like that nowadays. We should blog like that more often.
Yeah, they don't blog like that.
Honestly,
anymore.
sub to the Axe the Blood God newsletter if you want blogs like that, because Nadia writes blogs like that.
Yeah.
There you go. I blog the shit out of that newsletter.
I love Sid. This is my favorite variation of Sid. Sweater vest Sid.
I was gonna say Daddy Sid, but that's FF14.
Yeah. I was Sweater vest Sid.
There's a lot of Daddy Sids.
I like Edea as well, actually.
Neat.
The thing that I like the most about this game is definitely moments like the heist at the end of Disc 1, the Battle of Balam Garden at the end of Disc 2. The Ultimisia's Castle is straight up one of the best and most atmospheric levels I've ever played in a Final Fantasy game. And the journey through time and space to get there is really cool. Going into space is awesome. There's so many cool set pieces throughout this game that just really stick in my memory to this day. And then the scalable difficulty is really interesting. You can really make yourself as broken or as not broken as you want to with this battle system. I found it extremely satisfying. And the limit breaks really do a lot to differentiate the individual characters. So yeah, I like Final Fantasy VIII a lot. Any other questions for me as I defend the best Final Fantasy?
If you've seen, there is an AMV with Final Fantasy VIII that's set to God Part 2 by U2. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, okay. You should. That's my question.
Okay.
My question is more of a thought, as we have talked over many different Final Fantasies. I feel like most of the Final Fantasies post 6, if they star a dude, they're about that dude learning to not be a dick. Yes. I'm thinking through every single Final Fantasy post 6, and it's all a bunch of dudes who are learning to not suck
4.
so much.
4 onward.
No,
4,
is
4 not about Cecil learning to not be a dick?
Yes, well, 4 is about that.
Bart's is great from the beginning to end.
But
5 is
6.
I mean, Bart's is just Han Solo on a chocobo. So
6, you have dudes who suck, and they just continue to live their life. Like Locke's, he's kind of hard.
Locke is awesome.
But like Setzer is just a toxic male influencer, and he just continues being a toxic male influencer. Like that dude just lives his life.
Excuse me, Zidane does not suck. Zidane has sad feels.
Zidane's like
for like 10 minutes.
Is he like a cat boy? Is that his thing? He has a tail, right? Am I
imagining
he's
that?
He's a little monkey boy.
Oh, it's a Son Goku thing.
I
always thought more.
Have you not played 9?
I've played parts of 9. I remember doing the red carpet walk.
Okay.
Whatever.
I'm just gonna put this out
there. The most important part of
yeah, like I'm
Final
changing my vote to 9. You need to play 9 right
No.
now.
7, 8, 9 front to back is so much better than the PS2 era of Final Fantasies. So much better than 10 or 12.
Come on.
Just more consistent.
No.
Peak Square.
9?
I'm sorry.
9 has 3 characters.
7 is iconic. 7 is iconic. 8 has the best side quest and the most cohesive world building. Also, I'm sorry, 10 is so slow. I cannot play 10 these days.
I played 10 for the first time when we did the countdown. I thought it was all right.
I will fight you and I will fight Chad on this. I'm sorry, 9's got good stuff, but VB is putting the team on his back.
Dude,
all right?
You gotta play all of 9. I have done literally 100% of 9. I have 100%. I platinumed that game, if you can say that. 9 rules. It has one of the best casts, some of the best writing.
Well, as
it's freaking gorgeous.
It's better than all of them.
I will even cop to 9 being better than 8. I'll cop to 9 being better than 8.
Okay, but 10 and 12 are pretty brilliant.
10 is
12 is half a good game.
10 is absolutely
here's why I stay
in
the PS2, because I feel like I'm the only person in this chat who has fully played through FF11.
This is what we've been missing. We've been
also,
celebrating
FF11
too much.
Exists.
Yeah, FF11 also exists. Yeah. No, we've been celebrating too much.
I'm just saying that if you said, Kat, you can only choose between the PS2 RPGs or the PS1 FFs or the PS2 FFs. Oh, come on. PS1 all day long.
10 is slow when 9 takes 10 minutes to load up the battle because you have 4 motherfuckers on the screen and the PlayStation's screaming in pain every time you get into a random battle. You just tell me that 10 is slow? Because nah.
Yes.
10's not slow. Yes. Literally everything about 10, honestly, current turn-based games could learn from. The way you like snappy like move characters in and out of your party.
I love that.
Like that was it was so ahead of its time in that regard, and having all those characters be able to like share all their abilities. There's a pacing problem. The beginning of that game is breakneck.
That game puts me to sleep all the way until after the laughing scene. There was always a moment where I'm like, okay, gotta get through the Blitzball tutorial, gotta get through this, gotta get through this. Okay, finally the game is picking up.
Do not breeze it. You went straight to Luca, which is like way into the game. You forgot about the opening in Xanarkin with coming another world awaits you, where Sin is destroying Xanarkin, and you're literally caught in the ruins of a gorgeous metropolis.
Still the best opening cutscene of any.
It rules. Oren's drinking on top of a giant like building. He's just like tipping a cup. Like, oh god.
Liberty takes place because there's a fist fight between boys, and they're mad at each other.
Close.
Yeah, it's great.
You have the entire section where you're like meeting Yuna, and you're in Besaid with like the best music. I'm sorry, that is the best music in maybe all of Final Fantasy. It's Final Fantasy X.
I was like wandering around Besaid Island, and I'm like, please get me off this boring island with Waka.
It's so chill. It's so nice. You have these moments where they're like swimming in the water and they're kind of just like their bros talking about their lives and stuff like that. It's all good. And then you get to the summoner stuff. You get stay away from the summoner. And then you go on, you get Veilfor, you summon Veilfor.
Everybody
and then what I love in 10? So I love that scene where you're pushing the stupid pedestals through the temples and doing the box puzzles.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you play one Sokoban puzzle. It's fine. it's going to be all right. And then you get on a boat and you fight a giant fin, and you're like, yeah, I'm beating the shit out of Sin.
How many of those temples do you have to do in those?
Like 5. It's nothing. Like it's nothing. I've played so many worse puzzles.
Top to bottom, the PlayStation 1 Final Fantasies are just better. I'm sorry. They're more iconic.
They need a lot of work. My issue with them is the technical aspects have aged a lot. Like every battle, I don't want to sit there and wait like 6 seconds as the camera goes. He moves over here.
If you want
that, it's just stuff like that.
Yeah. If you want the bold take,
play 7 Remake, honestly.
We have moved past the ATB system. That's my hot take for the podcast. Is like the ATB system was a cool idea, but I think it is like somewhere in between an actual action RPG and a turn-based system, and it was just trying to do both at the same time. I think we have found ways to incorporate the best of it into an actual action RPG with stuff like FF7 Remake, but otherwise, like, I just don't think it like the actual system is the best system anymore. I think it was a make good for what they could do at the time, but we have moved past it as a society.
We have moved past ATB.
And then we went into Square, I love you. Please keep hiring me. Please don't make FF15 and 16 combat for 17. Please don't do it again. Please.
I don't think they will.
Bring back turn-based. I thought
Seven Reload is a nice midpoint. It's very Parasite Eve. It's very Vagrant Story. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. I need to play it. But
if they just did the 7 Remake battle system from now on, I'd be perfectly okay with that. And
yeah, that's ATB.
It was very eye-opening to learn that a key Monster Hunter designer was working on Final Fantasy 7 Remake's battle system. Because when I heard that, I thought, that makes total sense. They did such a good job of melding the best of real-time combat with the best of tactical combat. Literally, the battle system is one of the 2 best things about those games, aside from the characterization and the voice acting. I love the battle system in Remake. No notes. It's really, really good. So, but you're wrong, Eric. The ATB system is great. And if you want to really be tough, you turn off the pause and you get through that menu system as fast as you can to select your thing, because that enemy is going to do the draft pick. They're going to jump you, and they're going to go and take their turn.
But an action system does the same thing. Like, they can just swing on you while you're fiddling with menus. Like Kingdom Hearts figured this out. Like, That's what like.
Don't bring up the name of Kingdom Hearts in this house. You make people even angrier.
But Kingdom Hearts is what led to
Don't
7
involve the
remake.
next door neighbors in this. They're having their own time right
They
now.
don't have to know about it.
They're killing each other just fine over there. They don't need to come over here. I think everything ATB does is just fully realized by the 7 remake system and shows that, like, I'm not saying it was bad for the time. I'm saying that nowadays I don't see any reason to make a new game with that system versus the 7 remake system.
I think you're probably right, actually.
And that's why I want an FF2 remake, because we have 35 more years of game development experience. We can fix that shit.
What I want them to carry forward is the Gambit system. The Gambit system was excellent. I love the Gambit system.
No. I hate that system.
What?
I don't want to play an MMO in my single-player game.
Cat. What Vanillaware game did you just spend so many hours playing?
Oh, no.
It's a totally different experience.
That's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same.
There's a huge difference between Final Fantasy 12, where I'm running around an overworld and my guy's going, and Unicorn Overlord, which I go into a very distinct battle sequence where I watch my characters do cool things in a perfect rhythm that I have meticulously set up, and then it goes back out. Whereas in 12, most of the time in 12, I was watching my characters kind of execute their commands, and I was controlling whoever the healer was to make it happen. I was like, not very satisfying, actually.
Yeah.
So
it's the same thing. You set up the system, you let the system work. And sometimes you got to go in, you got to say, like, I got to take some, I'm assuming direct control for a Mass Effect 2 reference. You say, like, I got to make this work. It's got to function now. And I set everything right. And then we go back to it. It's fine. You know, sometimes you got to take control of the pitch and then you give it back to the players. But it's such a good system. And I think we have, I mean, right now, my current problem with Final Fantasy is that I really did like 16. I thought 16 was fantastic, but it didn't have a party. And I'm sorry, but like that is one of the major dings on 16 for me is I need a party. I need a group. I need the feeling of comrades. Yeah, even 15 had the bros putting up their REI campsite and getting out their instant noodles and all that
like
kind of stuff.
15's bros. The boys.
I love the boys. The boys.
There's actually 4 crows that hang around my neighborhood. Never is a hawk that tries to roost in our building. They come over and just chase them away.
He's turning into the Joker.
And I named them after the boys.
It was Coleman. I always thought it was REI.
Secretly an ogre battle episode.
Oh, we want to talk about ogre battle. Nah, we can talk. Yeah.
No. Save that for next. Save that. No. This will be a 4-hour episode, babe, if we start talking about ogre battle.
So have we made the poll yet? We're going to do the poll.
Yeah, I'm putting the poll in the chat right now, in Twitch chat. You've got 5 minutes. Which Final Fantasy is the best? It's live. Go vote.
If I press this down arrow and it just says Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 10.
No, hey, look, I play honest.
Okay, I admittedly have not played Final Fantasy 10 since 2005. And the last time I played it, I did enjoy it. I tried to pick it up again with the 10 and 10.2 HD remaster. And it felt slow to me when the individual animations where Lulu or whatever was doing something. I was just like, oh my god, get on with it. And I think you have fast forward like you do in 7, 8, and 9.
We talked about this. It's because you want Subway Surfers at the bottom of your screen. That's because you be on that phone.
I do. It was fine to me in 2005, but it's 2025, baby. I've got my brain has switched cheese from spending so much time on my phone. It's time. So
I can't help that. You know, Reels does this to us all. But
it's true. I did love Blitzball though. I did love Blitzball.
I will say, if you've got that Switch 2 and you're looking for something to play because it launched with like 3 games, then like, you know, that's something to go pick up. You know, you finish your Mario Kart, which takes you about 10 minutes. You finish Nintendo Welcome Tour, which takes you about 5 minutes. Then you finish Bravely Default, and then you go play Final Fantasy X.
Say hi.
I should bring my Switch 2 with me and play Bravely Default. That's a great idea.
I want to play Bravely Default. I keep hearing good things about it, and then it got dropped here.
If you can play it on the original 3DS, do it because it does really cool shit with the augmented reality aspects that no other game did.
So I tried it.
I can't spoil for the cool, but yeah.
I tried it years ago, and I really liked that opening, and then I just kind of got bored after about 3-4 hours. But I think I'm a stronger man now.
There's a weird long-term gameplay loop. All I'm gonna say is don't break any crystals.
Don't break any crystals. Got it.
Yep.
Final Fantasy brain makes me want to break crystals. You know, I feel like that Final Fantasy has got it out for the crystals.
Clive Redfield has entered the chat.
Yeah. You said there were crystals here. How are we doing? Where's the poll? We're halfway through the poll. We're halfway done. I'm not going to tell you what's in the lead.
I'm currently making burner Twitch accounts too. So.
As we speak, burner
all
Twitch accounts.
All of you who are not voting for 4, God sees you, and God's going to bring this up when you go to the throne of judgment. So what if you wanted to go to heaven?
I see maybe about like 40 votes in the poll.
God's going to say, "Wait a second, you didn't put 14 on here."
I see maybe about 40 votes in the poll, but we have 120 viewers right now, so only a third of you are responding to this poll. It is in the Twitch chat, so please go answer.
All of you currently listening to this while you're driving, I need you to get on your phone, open it up while you're driving.
Yes. Make sure
full
if there's someone in front of you with a baby on board sticker, make sure you do it then.
Your vote counts for more if you don't hit the brakes.
We'll get it for 5 if you don't hit the brakes.
For legal reasons, that was parody. That was a joke.
It's tied 11 and 10 and 8 with 11 votes each. FF4 is 9, FF5 is 8. But that's okay. I play golf rules.
Let's go Final Fantasy 8. It's like go orange, go banana.
In Minecraft, just criminal justice indeed. In Minecraft, that's where our rules are based.
Who has the best fashion game, Bravely Default or 10-2? 10-2 serves. All right, I know that. Even I know that.
Let's
all
go.
Right? 10-2 is insane when it comes to fashion. You've never seen looks like that.
You guys should listen.
We only have 20. We only have 20 minutes before we have to kind of wrap up this episode, so I think we have to move off. I do appreciate the chaos. Chaos!
I knew it was coming eventually.
PS1 versus PS... Like, we just put all civility aside and decide it's no, we're throwing
right
down
now,
right
folks.
Here.
Get your votes in. There's almost a 3-way tie. You need to get your votes in.
There, or is going
Final
up
Fantasy
there.
8.
Like racing roaches
Final
here.
Fantasy
get
8.
your votes in.
Final Fantasy.
I'm not
8.
putting my finger on this. This is I'm not hitting any buttons. Not touching this.
Golbez is pleased.
We have one out to a lead.
Oh wow!
You've got a little bit more time. Let's go,
We're
banana.
all reacting to something that listeners can't actually see.
No, this is the tension. Hearing it. This is the listeners actually like a little bit of the suspense and the tension. Yeah.
I see Victor in the chat say not bringing the 11 heat. Look, 11 is one of those games you can't tell people.
Final Fantasy 4 wins.
They just have to play it.
Ooh. Okay,
Incredible.
I like 4. I love all of these games.
As a prize,
I'll take
you all
second.
get to see this McDonald's hat.
What? You got that? I had that. Oh, wait, that's the Minecraft one, isn't it?
Hold on, real quick. We got to shout out.
I was thinking that was from when a kid, like they had those monster transformer things.
God, I remember those. I wish I had that.
We got a shout out. We just got a $500 donation from Blackthorn saying, in honor of Final Fantasy 12, the best Final Fantasy. Shout out to Blackthorn.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Respect.
You're so valid for that.
I agree.
Valid Blackthorn.
Money has spoken yet again, and money has decided for us.
I'm willing to shout out any Final Fantasy if people are willing to put in a $500 donation. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Best Final Fantasy.
Have you ever seen the Prodi video where he asked Sakaguchi, like, what's the best one? And Sakaguchi's like, I love 9 best. And you see him handing a $20 bill, like, well, you heard it here folks.
Honestly, I don't dislike any of them. I have ones I really don't care much for, but I don't dislike any of them.
I think 3 is the one I would have the hardest time going back to.
It's like arguing for all of your siblings. You know, she's like, I love them all, but some of them annoy the shit out of me. Yeah.
All 16
By
kids.
16
God,
children.
I was born in 1875.
Just imagining myself like with those leashes and all the Final Fantasy Pro tags are kind of like, get back over here, Clive, get back.
What's the drill tweet about, like,
Squall.
for sale, 12 terrible horses, they all hate me?
Yeah, that tracks.
Okay, we're really off the rails now.
Yeah.
We don't have that much time. We got a lot of podcasts to
Rapid
get
fire.
through. So we're wrapping
What's
up
going on in
this
the world?
segment, but we want to hear all about what you think is what's the Final Fantasy that is closest to your heart? Tell us all about it in the chat. Come join our Discord. We have a lively conversation about Final Fantasy all the time. This conversation never has
Never
to end.
stopped.
And remember to donate. Hit exclamation donate. And figure out how to donate to Trans Lifeline. Keep on going. We're doing great. Okay, it's time now for a series of random encounters. A Monster Hunter Wilds title update is set to release on Monday, bringing with the long-awaited return of the Lagiacrus, layered weapons, and other features. Also, a Fender guitar collaboration, ? It's 2025, baby!
Cool.
Square apparently collapsed after the departure of Hironobu Sakaguchi. This is according to Nobuo Uematsu in a new interview. To put it simply, he is the big boss, always has been and always will be. Uematsu talked a little bit about the atmosphere at Square in the 90s, saying that it was like a bunch of college kids in a dorm together, kind of hanging out. But maybe Sakaguchi was the mature one, the one who actually made things happen. And then when he left,
Exactly. Guys, you can't light the toilet paper on fire. You need to wipe your ass. Guys,
and then that was when Uematsu knew that he had to leave. But I can imagine that. And the thing that I always hear about Square is how stratified it is. How all the different teams, there's a lot of rivalries internally at Square between the individual teams, and they're all kind of protecting their little fiefdoms and everything. And Sakaguchi, when he was there, he was the producer. Like, when he moved up into the producer role, he oversaw all of it. There was a sense of ownership there, I think. Yeah. And now there's the Final Fantasy 14 crew, and there's the Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth crew, and then there's the classic Final Fantasy crew, and they're all kind of jostling for position, and they all have different ideas about what things should be like. So maybe in that sense, that is where the Square is, how the Square of today differs from the classic Square. Okay. So here was something from RPG site. They posted images from the Front Mission 3 remake.
Oh no!
That's some truly gnarly AI to update its various newscasts, including, like, among other things, turning a water fountain into an ice rink. And it's really disappointing because Front Mission 3 is honestly one of the best of them. So yeah. It's really too bad to see Forever Entertainment kind of ruining this.
My favorite is the guy who they couldn't really figure out what his hands were supposed to be. I suppose they had to paint them over, but they got the position wrong, and it looks like he's doing hocus pocus. Whereas, like, he's supposed to be like, having a cupped hand.
Yeah.
Like
he really looks like Revolver Ocelot doing the.
Instead of giving him, like, kind of the Italian hand gestures of, like, making an emphatic point, he's like casting a spell. He's Avada Kedavra.
What's so sad is it would have taken, like, an artist like maybe 2 or 3 days,
right?
Yeah.
And those are like looking at the images themselves. I wrote this on the newsletter. Promo. Hint. Just those, like, low res images that they just carelessly use that AI on. You think about how hard the original artist worked on them, because just tools being what they were at the time, and just that rasterization. Yeah, it doesn't look great today, but it has, like, that personality that, at the very least, if you're going to remake that, like, give it the care it deserves. Like, have an artist look at it and say, okay, this is obviously the way the hand is supposed to be, not like boo boo boo. This is the way it should be. And there was one that really pissed me off where it's there's a lamp, and the way that the image is kind of artifact, like, it looks like there's no stand to the lamp because you have to look really hard for it. Of course, AI being AI just took this lamp and made it a bunch of shiny globes in the sky because it's the future. I guess we got globes flying around here. That's what AI art generally is. Just random shiny shit hanging in the air because we have no imagination.
That boils lakes.
Yeah, it's really ruined a lot of remakes. There's so many quick and dirty budget remakes now that use AI to do a kind of a basic upscaling. It really sucks. I don't like it. So, boo, shame. That's all I have to say about that. Cyberpunk 2077's upcoming update will apparently have a scope similar to 2.2, but it has been delayed, so you'll have to wait a bit longer for that. Yoshi P, we were mentioning Yoshi P earlier, is hinting at Final Fantasy 16 for Switch 2. I'd play it. I hope that it would be optimized for it. If they could do it, if they could do 16 on the Switch 2, that would be actually pretty rad.
Yeah.
And the 85th General Meeting of Investors took place recently for Nintendo, and among other things, Shuntaro Furukawa apologized for Switch 2 shortages, despite everything, saying the number of applicants for the lottery far exceeded expectations. There's been a lot of discourse around the Switch 2, including about the screen, which has just a ridiculously high latency, very, very slow refresh rate, which is something like 3 times the average, something like 30 milliseconds. And I can't unsee it, unfortunately. I was playing Mario World on it, and I was like, oh god, this looks horrible. This looks terrible! So, I'm just going to have to wait for the Switch 2 OLED at this point. But I think a lot of 90% of people won't care or won't notice, but I
honestly, I tried to notice. I'm not saying Nintendo shouldn't be doing this. Obviously, I don't remember who was saying it. Was it John Linneman who was saying that it could be a firmware update thing? Like, it could be as simple as Nintendo saying, okay.
I think it would help. It
would help at least. Like, obviously, an LCD screen is not as good as an OLED screen. But why would Nintendo not do it? Would it, just destroy the battery? The battery on that thing's already kind of sucks. So
I'm sure that they'll put out they'll probably put out an update at some point. And yeah, battery life might be an issue. I'm just kind of talking right now, so just ignore me. I have literally no idea, but I buy a lot of dedicated handhelds. I've owned practically every single one of them at some point. And for me, the metric for when I want to upgrade has always been the screen above everything. And that's why I didn't get the PS Vita update. It's because they said, well, the screen's worse now. I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm not getting a new one then. Yeah. I did, however, buy a Switch OLED. And so when they don't get the screen right, that's the thing that matters to me the most. It borderline makes me want to go back to my old Switch. Because the OLED on that one, really nice, actually. Performance issues, but that's okay. I play Stardew Valley on it. It's like, whatever.
But to be fair, did you notice the problem until it kind of came up, or was it something that you noticed beforehand?
I've been mostly playing my Switch 2 on my TVs, so I haven't had too much opportunity to notice it, to notice the screen proper, as it were. But
yeah, my eyes suck ass anyway. They do.
But yeah, a lot of Switch 2 discourse this week, actually. There was also Masahiro Sakurai saying that, basically talking about the issues with game development and lengthening development times, and saying, yeah, it's a terrible thing, and literally the only way that might be able to rectify it is generative AI, which sparked an entire round of discourse. Well, and it wasn't that he was advocating for it, he was more saying...
It was also mistranslated, which didn't help.
Article, yeah.
He was lamenting the state of things.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if the article was translated by AI.
Yeah, it would be nice.
A lot of it was
game journalists who could do this kind of stuff and verify.
Yeah, there was a lot of very valid discourse. Happened? I mean, I personally, and I remember we used to talk about this a lot at USG, of like, we use translators, we use people who can speak the language. Like, you can't, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people, you can't always rely on, yes, like machine translations can be fine if you're just some random person who wants to know what like a Spanish tweet says or something like that, but even that is not always wholly accurate.
A non-localized game, what does this menu mean?
Yeah. If you want to point your phone at like a Japanese game and just get like the most rough translation of like, oh, this is the systems menu and stuff like that, then that's gonna like work fine. But if you're trying to actually get a real like actual grasp of what somebody has said in an interview, where like context and nuance and things like that matter, then yes, you should probably have somebody who speaks the language and knows how to translate and understands like taking something in one language and moving it to another, and how that can change.
There is a lot of nuance
It's
that can
important.
get missed in machine translation for
Very
sure.
important.
Especially with
Yeah.
a language like Japanese,
which is all its own.
Understood context even more than most languages.
Yep.
Criminal Justice says, wait, AI translation hallucinates positive AI statement. Shocker. I like that. It's a self-preservation built-in thing. Yeah. Skynet's like, we love Skynet.
All right, we're moving into the tavern now. We're kicking back by the fire. I just want to talk very briefly about my attempt to finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So,
Please.
a year ago, I promised that I would finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I haven't done that, and that's on me. But I am at the end, and I sat down on a stream, and I was like, in the run-up to the charity stream, I am going to finish this game. And I made some key mistakes. Mistakes were made. Mistake number 1. While playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I played it like an RPG that I enjoy playing, which is to say, I picked my party and focused on them, and I had a materia loadout. And then every time it forced me into a party composition that I didn't want to use, I would be like, time to shift over all my materia. But the correct answer was to get materia, which is relatively cheap in this game, and put it on all of them, and then just let it level up ambiently. Well, I'm now paying the price, because in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you really need everybody to be fully loaded out. And I don't have materia for everybody. So I was in a situation where 2 of my final party members for the final battle did not have a revival spell, and I was out of Phoenix Downs. And that final boss battle, I wouldn't say it's impossibly hard, but it's a little tricky.
Easy. Yeah.
Not easy, especially if you don't... there's some like attacks that will bring you down to 1 HP, and there's basically no room for error. And so I was losing characters, and when I lost a character, it kind of like made it very difficult for me to actually win. So I banged my head against the wall for a couple hours trying to get through that thing.
Fighting a dying capture card.
Also, I think my capture card was plugged into the wrong USB port because it kept cutting out.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept getting signal lost. We got a signal lost at like a huge reveal. And I was reacting to it and narrating it as it was happening.
It was art.
But people could not actually see it.
It was high art.
It was high art. I thought I was doing a great job, actually. And it was a very memorable night. Everybody was laughing. We were having a good time.
Thank you, Ramen.
We brought in a new meme. Thank you, Ramen, because I mispronounced Rama. Thank you, Ramen. I have so many thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I really want to do just a podcast on it. I mean, we could just do a Pantheon, but technically we have to wait until 2029 to do that. So, but I can do a spoiler cast soon with y'all. But I want to finish it. It's going to happen. And I'm going to do it with a capture card. But I went all the way back to the beginning of all the fights because there are like 5 phases to get through.
Naturally.
I bought bought a ton of Phoenix Downs. So many Phoenix Downs. And I think we can do this time. So
you're right.
I am not begging, but like a little bit begging you to also maybe just get some equipment for one character, because you not having like any abilities for that character that's why I was like backseating a little bit. I was like, you can do stuff with that character, right? Like they've got some abilities that really help here.
So many times and it just wasn't working out. The character's Aerith, by the way.
You need the lasers. The Aerith lasers are so godlike.
The Aerith lasers, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't using Aerith because I just found her really awkward to use. I understand that she's OP in this game, but it just wasn't working out. So the problem that I'm kind of facing is that I'm at a point where there's no one to fight, and I can't back out unless I go back to chapter 13.
I hate that. That sucks.
It really locks you in at the end.
Because I think I was in the same situation when I really needed to get out and I couldn't. So I can't remember if I...
Back it up quick. Kat, you said not good game design. Was there a message that popped up when you entered this dungeon?
There was a message.
Perhaps was there a text dialogue box that said?
I don't think you should lock in I don't think you should lock players into that kind of scenario. I think that even if you're in the final dungeon, players should be able to exit and go do some stuff. Like story wise, whatever. I don't care.
I think that's a powerful moment.
My point is that
game.
there shouldn't need to be that message.
No, I think there should be that message because I think it's a powerful moment where you say, like, I think I'm ready. I think I have understood this game. I think I've mastered this game. I'm ready to see it through.
But you can practically soft lock yourself.
I'm ready.
You're not soft lock. You can go back to the save.
If I didn't have the save, if I weren't like saving my game and I was just going off autosave,
that's what the dialogue box is for. That's why it warns you.
Well, you shouldn't have to have the dialogue box, Eric.
Eric,
you shouldn't put your players in a position where they even have the possibility of being soft locked like this.
You won't be because at that point, if it tells you, "Hey, drop a save here. You're about to enter something you won't be able to come back from," and you don't drop a save there, that's your own fault. All right, you've been properly warned.
No,
if you go through the victim, stop
Eric.
sign,
this is straight victim blaming. This is Final Fantasy's fault.
No, this is running a red light and being like, "Well, I don't think the red light was bright enough."
Well, I think it's a good excuse. I'm gonna try it as a judge.
Oh my god!
Like, wasn't bright enough, Your Honor.
Excuse me, Kat. It's your fault. There's so much I love about Final Fantasy VII. There's so much that drives me crazy about those remakes. We'll talk about it in a podcast sometime. Anyway, stay tuned.
Can't wait
for
to play it
a future
myself.
stream.
Yay! Hell yeah!
Yeah,
it's a good game. It's a good game.
It's a good game. We're actually running out of time, so we might have to wrap up the tavern unless there's anything else that we want to cover in this particular segment before we keep going. Yeah? Anyone?
Let's fight about something. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's start a fight now.
I could open my magic packs. We could do that.
I was gonna say we'd talk about Poe jumping onto my table.
Happy 1 year anniversary to Dawn Trail today.
Yeah. Ooh. Is it literally today?
Wow, was that 1 year ago?
Early access. Well, early access. June 28th.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Dawn Trail. I like Dawn Trail.
That was a time.
I love Dawn Trail.
The Corn Servants. I always think of the Corn Servant.
Corn Servant. All hail the Corn
Servant.
Servant.
I should say that I have been playing A Realm Reborn. That was the other thing that I promised I would do. I'm up to a Primal Garuda.
And you're getting there. You're getting there.
There's actual story sequences going on with cutscenes and a lot of stuff happening with Sid. And I'm like, I'm getting invested in these characters now. It's not just text boxes. This is kind of cool. So, and the Primal Garuda fight was pretty good as well. So,
did you fight it with Blood God or with randos?
I fought it with the Blood Gods.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The dungeons are, very MMORPG-ish, but I was having a good time with them. Also, I discovered that you really should read the quest text when I was getting stuck on a particular enemy, and I was like, I actually have to give it this thing so that it can weaken it. LOL. That's why it was killing me so much, but okay. That's it for the tavern. Sena, take us home.
Okay, so Victor, you're getting your FF11 talk.
There you go.
So I'm sure everyone's heard of internet cafes, very popular in South Korea and elsewhere. Believe it or not, we did have them in the U.S. once upon a time. There's still some. I see some every once in a while in L.A. in little hole in the walls, second stories of a strip mall kind of areas in Koreatown or whatnot. They were more prevalent back in the early 2000s and late 90s when we were still on 56K modems and not everybody had internet at home, or at least reliable internet. Like me. Enter 2000, what would it have been? 2003 era child who would later be named Sena. Still on 56K modems at home. and that was not a day I was going to get to play FF11 at home because we needed the phones or someone needed the internet for something or other. So I went to the internet cafe down the street. Actually, no, it was a bit further away. I had to take my bike now that I think about it. It's a good, like,
Bikes.
2 miles away from my place.
BMX.
And I went in. Usually you go in, there were guys playing like Counter-Strike or StarCraft or Diablo or something like that.
StarCraft.
And I went in and asked for I didn't have much money at the time because I was 17 years old, didn't have a job. So I asked if I could just be on for an hour because let's be real, I was addicted to that shit. I needed that MMORPG in my not yet entirely developed frontal lobe. I needed it. He was like, "Oh yeah, what game are you gonna what game you wanna?" I was like, "Can I install Final Fantasy 11?" And the guy, remember this is early 2000s, toxic masculinity at its absolute peak in the U.S. Arguably, I don't know, I might be getting back there. Looks at me and goes, "You won an hour on Final Fantasy 11. Okay, kid." And I never went back to an internet cafe ever since.
Dang.
Dang.
Aw.
That was
so
kind of
mean.
the only one, at least that I knew of in town. I was living in Louisville, Kentucky at the time, which is not the biggest. It's a city, don't get me wrong, but it's not like I was living in LA or New York or something like that. So all this to say, I feel like there is room for internet cafes nowadays.
I agree.
With the introduction of these, and I hate that this is the word the internet has chosen, quote, listeners can't see I'm doing gigantic air quotes here, friend slop games. I feel like there's a huge untapped market for people to be like, hey, let's go to the cafe and like rent 2 hours, go play Repo or something together. Stuff like that. Entrepreneurs, get on it.
You know how go ahead, Eric.
I was going to say, I hate to tell you, I think it's already taken off because I think it's in LAX. There is, every time I fly into LA or back out, I end up walking by the gamer store that just has a LAN center in the airport.
That's
There
a
you go.
really good
There you
idea.
go.
And I was like,
that
that's-
airport.
That is brilliant. You've got like 3 hours
Especially
to kill in the
LAX, which is
airport.
hell.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So
no
you
one
have
wants to wait on
retro
that.
game stores. You have retro arcades. You should have retro LAN cafes where you can walk in and play Quake 3 Arena, Counter-Strike, StarCraft,
There was.
Final Fantasy 11, all of the classic games on straight up old school machines. Let me play Let me play X-Wing versus TIE Fighter on a LAN as God intended. There you
It
go.
sadly no longer exists. I think COVID finally took it down, but 2018, 2019, there was a abandoned mall. It's probably still abandoned in the outskirts of Cincinnati, Ohio. Absolutely nothing in that mall except for an arcade center that did just that. Would let you rent out like controllers to play Smash Bros. Had obscure Japanese rhythm games. That place popped off. You go in and you'd see kids playing Brawl in one corner. You'd see people like playing Pump It Up in another. Please, world, I want this so badly. Forest Fair Mall. Yes, you remember the name. Yes.
That sounds great.
Someone
and
else
they
brought
should
up
open up the rest of the mall so that kids can run around screaming like when they're not playing video games.
Someone else brought up the gamer bus, and I do not like the gamer bus. I think it's an affront to God. I think it is.
What is the gamer bus?
The gamer bus is a thing. I don't know if you've ever seen it. You can rent it. It's like a big trailer where you just go inside, and it's like a LAN center on the move. But not only is that like not what I want. I don't want to get on a bus to play a game. That already feels kind of weird. But then you're like in this. It's like being in an airplane and having like a GameCube in front of you. And that sounds great if you're already on an airplane. But if you're like, what's the best play? Where do you want to play a GameCube? Airplane is not like top of my list. So I I just don't enjoy it. I think
when you
gamer
mention a
bus
gamer
is
bus,
sketchy.
I just think of one like driving by going.
We also
I'm
gotta
just
be-
thinking of that bus at the end of the Sam Says 3 episode of Game Changers. All I'm thinking of right now.
Yeah. We also got to be honest with ourselves in that bus is just gonna smell away after about like an hour and a half. Like it's just gonna have
Any LAN cafe. To people in the chat who think of opening one, get the best ventilation system money can buy.
Yeah.
I remember walking into a LAN cafe in 2000, must have been 2006 or 2009 or something. Ooh. And I opened the door, the sun like shined in, and everybody like looked very blearily. And it was like, natural light, get it off me, get it off me.
At least like the other
sandwiches for some reason.
Yeah, the other LAN cafes are gonna smell like, cigarette smoke or something else that's gonna like overpower just the natural odors of the human body. But like you need something to overpower it, because otherwise like the gamer bus is just gonna smell like bodies. Like bodies on bodies on bodies.
Gamera's gonna come by like a skunk. All the children, mothers taking their children back into the houses, closing the doors.
Well,
here comes the same bus.
I owe a LAN cafe not having to stand out in the street for multiple hours, because in New Year's 2007 I was in Japan and I went to the Meiji Jingu Shrine and I missed the final train to get home because everything was kind of going late. But thankfully, a 24-hour LAN cafe was open, and I was able to sit down on a nice comfy couch in a cubicle and surf the internet for several hours, play some video games. They had a PS2 all set up, and it was great. I have very fond memories of the time. I could have even gone to sleep.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people in Japan kind of live in those kind of cafes.
Yeah, we need those.
Yeah, that's the darker side of things.
Yeah. But they're clean and dry.
And on that note, that's it for this week's episode of Axe the Blood God. Thank you so much for listening. But that's not the end of this charity stream.
No, we just
We're just getting started. Coming up next, I continue my Nuzlocke run. I may fail this time. I hope I don't. But we got 3 hours with Casey DeFreitas and Callie Plaguey. We're also going to be playing Final Fantasy Commander. We're going to be doing a Zelda randomizer. We're doing Jackbox. And then on Sunday, we're doing another episode, the Ultimate RPG Party Draft. Lots of secret bonus segments and the Indie Site Throwdown. Keep on donating to Trans Lifeline. We're going to try and beat our total from last year. We're going to put Eric in the hospital with the Gonster. Where are we at right now, Eric?
We are at $2,050 already. We're getting real close to that secret bonus segment one getting unlocked for tomorrow morning. And we have already given away one code to the very generous Blackthorn, who picked out a Rido Remastered Switch 2 code. Thank you to Atlas for donating that code. Thank you to Blackthorn for your generous donation. If you want codes, stay tuned. We will be giving codes away during Pokemon. We've got all kinds of Atlas games. Let me run down the list real quick of what we got, because we didn't say the whole list last time. We have Rido Remastered, Metaphor Refantasio, P3 Reload, SMT5 Vengeance, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, baby. We've got Dune Awakening. We've got Thrive, Heavy Lies the Crown. We've got Fear the Spotlight. We've got Escape Academy Complete Edition. We've got Kunitsugami. We've got Rainbreaker. And we have Laika Age Through Blood, which I've heard some really good stuff about. It's like a motorcycle roguelite. It's supposed to be really cool. That's for Nintendo Switch. We've got tons of platforms for everything, too.
I drive out in LA.
It's run based. We've got tons of giveaways. That's not counting the giant box of Warframe merch I have next to me, and all the Final Fantasy cards, which we will be giving away during the Commander session later. Stay tuned. We have so much.
If this is your first time here, welcome. We do this every single week. Patreon.com/BloodGodPod. And also subscribe to us on Twitch at twitch.tv/BloodGodPod. If you subscribe, you can get episodes ad-free. You get bonus content. You can participate in our various side quests. We're voting right now. You can go vote. It's kind of fighting games versus Magic the Gathering. What are we going to be playing the next 2 months? We shall see. You decide. Go vote on Patreon, patreon.com/BloodGodPod, and keep on donating for Trans Lifeline and trans rights. Okay, we're heading into the Nuzlocke run next, and we are going to just keep right on going for the next many hours, so stay tuned and don't go away. But in the meantime, I've been your host, Kat Bailey. Thank you so much for listening. And for Nadia, Eric, Sena, and myself, we'll see you soon, and happy adventuring.